We
Hello.
are now we are now live.
Bless you.
I keep coughing. Hold on. Okay. All right, we're live. We are here with week 2 of the what do we call it? Mobius podcast?
I, that's what
I
you're
don't
calling
remember.
him. I'm calling him something else.
We are live with week 2 of Mobius podcast. A bit rushed, a bit scuffed, but that's
That's how we
pretty
roll.
much how I do everything, honestly.
'Tis life.
We crashed our
I,
plane through the finish line.
Oh boy. What prize do we get?
I am joined this week by Razor Tim Core. Say hello.
Hello.
Judas. Say hello.
Hello.
And Mike Murdock. Is that how you say your name?
That's correct.
He is different from last time. Say hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Ah, sorry.
And this week we are talking about a shorter topic this week. We are talking about Sally Acorn and how we feel about her, our thoughts, our views. Do we miss her in IDW? Razor, you probably know the most about Sally Acorn.
Of course you do.
Well, I've owned a lot of the Archie comics and owned the Sad AM of Sonic the Hedgehog, so she's a pretty important character in them.
What would you say is more canon, the Sadam, or would you say that the comics are more canon? Or are the two
That's
even related?
They're very much related. So you have the comics and then the show. The comics kind of bounce back and forth with the slapsticks, while the show is a bit more grimdark. But in the end, you could pretty much say the show is in the comics, even if not verbatim. But a lot of the key aspects were there. Some of it weren't though, because like the show, like they went to the floating island. There was no Knuckles. That had nothing to do with the floating island. We know there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Was the floating island Angel Island, or is
No,
that its own thing?
it was its own thing. Had nothing to do with the Angel Island. We know it was an odd choice. I don't know why they did it.
What was that floating island called?
Floating island.
Yeah, they had a name for it. Mostly it was just like that thing existed before Knuckles and Angel Eye was like a sparkle in Sega's eye.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Either way, that's not what we're here for. We're here for about the Flasher, Sally.
Yeah, so Sally Acorn. All I know about her is she's a princess. Did she lead the Freedom Fighters?
Yes. She was the princess, and because of her bloodline, she was just like, well, I guess I'm in charge now. And she did a good job. She wasn't, despite her age and inexperience, she was just a naturally born leader. She was very much so the, what's the word I'm looking for? The steady brain compared to Sonic's foolishness and hot-headedness and need for speed.
She was a very matured leader. She was like the voice of reason compared to Sonic's
she was
hasty
also really
action.
intelligent too. Like, because we had Tails, but she was more, I would say, kind of smarter than Tails because Tails didn't have, the reason and stuff back then compared to now.
Even then, Tails is more of a tech smart. Sally was way more into politics and street smarts.
Yeah.
Something like that. Plus, also, the Sam cartoon, they didn't develop Tails' character yet in his knack for machines.
That was more Rotor, right? And that's what, yeah.
Yeah, Rotor mostly filled that role.
Yeah.
This is comic canon, right? Not the show, because
both.
From what I remember, Tails wasn't really like that tech savvy in the cartoon.
That is true, but
He was
they were planning to but in season 3, but we all know that season 3 never was a thing.
Yeah, like Tails, they more play on the fact that Tails was a kid. They didn't really play into anything of him being smart.
That'll do the funny voice, Sally. Oh wait, you never saw it. Never mind.
So I'm
Finn
well aware of that episode.
Oh, we all are, except for
and the voice that he
you.
got in Heroes. Remember the
What?
voice he had in Heroes? Sonic
No,
Heroes.
no. You. All right. So in the show, Robotnik does the smart thing, captures Sally, and doesn't turn her into a robot for whatever reason, but does make a duplicate. And it's not like a Metal Sonic; it's like an exact duplicate of Sally. And he boots her to Nuthole to figure out the location and sabotage the group. You know, little espionage. And it fooled everyone but Tails, because Sally, was being like the big sister for Tails, and tucking him in at night and giving him a kiss to sleep and reading him bedtime stories and whatnot. Because again, Tails is a child. And when Tails is like, okay, read me the story, she's the fake doppelganger. She's like, okay. It would just read the book, and Tails like, no, do the funny voice. Okay, and just like make up a voice, and Tails like, no, the voice, do the voice.
I take it in that episode it didn't like analyze any of like Sally's like more recent behavior with Tails or anything like that.
No, they were just going off of what Robotnik knew, and Robotnik knows nothing about Tails' story time. Why would he?
Well,
That's
it's
a
also-
very weird setup because that Robotnik was actually really smart and clever.
Right, but at the same time, it's like, if he doesn't know, why would he know?
that is true because Tails didn't go on missions. He mostly stayed at Knothole for the majority of the series.
Because he's a child.
And you don't want to endanger the children.
That's boring. But when it came to Sally herself, the comics obviously had much more time to expand upon her. But in short, as I stated before, she was royalty. She was the natural born leader, even at a young age, and she was able to hold the group together despite Sonic's brash attitude at times. She actually slapped Sonic once. That was great.
Yeah.
Even if
It was kind of more of like the reason why it was because Sonic wanted to do something, but Sally's like, "No, you'll get killed." But and then Sonic's like, "But I gotta do it for my friends." And then she was like, "What about me?"
yeah.
The thing was, I feel like that because of that, it was just really off character for her to do.
Yeah, because that was the other thing. In both mediums, they're like, we're gonna ship these characters hard, and it just sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and the show really wanted to ship them even harder. They were kissing and everything. It's like, yeah, I don't need this.
Yeah, it's because like you said, she's kind of like the opposite of Sonic, but always puts him in his place. But it's just the fact that, oh, it's a boy and a girl, we gotta have the romance, and it's just like it's really not needed, to be
Nope.
honest.
No, but that's just how the '90s were in terms of like
Yeah.
cartoons back then.
Yeah,
That's just the thing because every main hero needed a girl.
the damsel in distress.
She wasn't really a damsel.
She
in
didn't-
distress,
Twice. She was captured
she get-
twice.
Yeah, only twice out of like how many episodes?
2 seasons worth.
So
But if you
more
go
or less 50 episodes.
So if you go by how many times everyone else was captured, if they were captured, they usually didn't come back. And Rabot was captured twice as well, and she was a girl.
Oh yeah, Bunny.
Antoine was captured once. Now that I think about
He's basically a princess.
it. He's your
He screams-
princess.
He screams like a
Yeah.
girl.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
I remember him doing girl screams.
I remember you doing girl screams.
This isn't about me. It's about the French man.
I thought it was about the princess.
Moving along.
Exactly.
I will
Okay,
say though.
so
I will say though that a lot of the comics from a certain point onward, I haven't read much about. Like, I mostly read a lot of the stuff during the post reboot until Archie lost the license.
I was mostly before that, so we'll balance each other out.
So, how many arcs really have centered around Sally? Let's start with the cartoon. What's the cartoon first? Since that's a little bit shorter range.
Oh, it's been a while.
Like, was there any like arcs around her that kind of like where she kind of got some development? It doesn't have to really
It
center around her, but something that really built on her character as a whole.
usually when it did, it was more so about her trying to find her father, which was kind of a lost cause.
Yeah.
Was he dead or?
He was
Not
No.
captured, right?
really. What happened was that he ended up Robotnik pretty much sent him to the equivalent of the Phantom Zone in that universe.
This also
I
happened in the comics.
And then sadly that zone he can't leave for long periods or else he'll turn into a giant crystal man.
Same with the Ixis. Something to do with staying in that zone for too long basically makes you dependent on that zone's what's the word? Like physics? Laws of physics or something?
Physics,
It's weird.
energy, some weird other thing.
But yeah, when you come back out, you're like, I'm okay, guys, and then you slowly turn into crystal. I'm dead, guys.
Does it actually kill you, or does it just preserve you, but you just can't move?
I think
Probably just get crystal forever.
Ixis was able to do it to others to allow them to move, but he was the kind of guy like, if I do this, I want everything you own. He was an all or nothing kind of guy.
All right.
He was one of those
Really?
wizards.
The only part of the cartoon I kind of remember she had a lot of involvement in. Granted, I saw like maybe 5 episodes as a kid. It was the pinball episode where Ari was involved. I don't remember exactly how long, but I remember there was a lot of screen time with her. It was the Ram that ended up betraying them because Robotnik had his freedom fighters, and then in the end he kind of got fucked over anyway. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember anything important about Sally, but again, 90s cartoon when I haven't watched it in 20 years.
I understand.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, too.
All right, so I guess that covers it for like cartoon Sally. Now let's move on. Let's graze over Archie Sally then. Is Archie Sally much different than Sandham Sally?
At the start, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
I was gonna say because they kind of like mature her in a way, and they kind of make her personality help more with the freedom fighters in a way. But yeah,
Yeah, but just like everything else, they had more time to develop her in the comics. And after a certain reboot, she lost her flasher jacket and got an actual outfit.
oh yeah. Speaking of the reboot, is the reboot before or after where she gets roboticized?
It happened. What happened is like she was roboticized until they when they did the reboot, they completely got rid of that, and the only reason why she remembered the other universe is when she touched Nicole, and all her memories from that erased universe just flooded back into her.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I forget why, but Nicole had all the original information, and she basically had it so when she was held by someone, usually by choice at that point, she would just give them all their old memories and all their old experiences. How, I don't know. But it was hilarious when Antoine got it.
Plot
like,
armor.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Mostly, it only covered like just the core characters, like sadly Uncle Chuck and everyone else didn't get that experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting of what they did with Sally there. Like, in order to make nods to her roboticized form, they actually gave her those gauntlets that had energy swords in them.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Plus, her outfit was colorized, kind of like the Robo Sally.
Yeah, it was just good changes all around, really. And because before she had the Sword of Acorn, which was later taken away or stolen.
Like an actual acorn?
No, a sword that was just named that.
Oh,
Oh, wait. So, okay, so you don't know this.
yeah.
Plot development shenanigan crap things. Basically, they had a thing called the Source, not the Force, and it was just like
The
a
source be with you.
exactly. It really was a parody off the Force. And it was just this pool of gold. I forget the exact details about it, but basically, there were several panels of this. She has to walk into it naked,
Oh
then,
yeah.
then walk out, let it drain off her body, and into a mold of a sword. And after it cools, she can now use the sword that's got like magical properties or something that's never really uh, uh, described or explained.
Yeah.
That's
I know
that
you're
sounds
talking about, but this is a little off topic, but kind of on the same topic of the pool. I have one of the Sonic Select issues of that scene, and they put clothes on her when she goes into the pool.
like, is it like special clothes, like ceremonial
No,
clothes or
it's
something like
her
that?
same clothes, but
Uh,
on the original she has to go in naked. But like the issue that I have, which is just a rerun of like volumes, she has clothes. It has the
just
same. It's the same idea.
her flasher clothes, because being naked like Sonic
Yeah.
is too much.
Too much.
Yeah, as we all know with our own sets of clothes here. But no, like she gets the sword, and they don't really describe what it does, and if they do, I don't remember because there was not a good description.
Was it just something that was like made up that like that gave the appearance like, oh, this is going to be an important plot device, but then it
Yeah,
became nothing?
yeah, kind of, and like it did show up. I think it helped the king stay out of his crystal form or something like that for at least for a time, or it was stolen at some point, or all the above, or given away, or something. So basically, she had this sword that she didn't want to risk losing, so she couldn't really use it in combat. And even then, she lost it and had no weapon. So after she got roboticized and de-roboticized, like Mike said, she got some dual-wielding gauntlet blade things, which she really needed. Because unlike everyone else, she doesn't have special powers.
This just sounds like really weird storytelling.
It is.
It's like a
Well,
10-year-old wrote it.
Welcome
well,
to Archie.
looking at it this way, they had to do the reboot because of certain things we won't talk about here. So they were
Yes.
Funny man in the dungeon.
pretty much, they had to, force the hand to get something to reboot.
Right, but even then, like, because she rarely used that sword, like, she really needed a weapon.
That's true.
I mean,
Not
yeah,
to men-
when you are like a non-elemental, non-special skill type of person, you do need a little bit of an edge, so you're not automatically just doing the minute that robot grabs you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
in her skill, other than leadership, was strategist actually.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
yeah.
she was a bit of an intellect, right?
oh, not just intellect, but military strategist.
And I also remember some pretty good arcs that she had. Like, one of my favorite arcs was the one where she actually went into something the equivalent of the Matrix to save Nicole from Phage,
Oh
which was
yeah,
a computer virus that was trying to corrupt her brain. Well, Robo Brain.
always after the brains.
Does this have something to do with the Iron Nicole thing?
This was
Not
after.
really, no.
Uh,
Yeah, because I didn't know the whole thing was just like a hard rewrite with magic tech shenanigans. It had nothing to do with Eggman. Not really. Uh, the phage thing was a virus Eggman created and just like sent out after her. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
mostly the virus was pretty much after Nicole. Like, first it was made for the whole I just want to take over the world with the computer virus, but then it became like independent. So it is interesting. They also at the same time redesigned her father because uh, Maximilian became Nigel, and Nigel became a even more of a squirrel man.
Hmm.
It was pretty cool that he also showed that he had that cool gauntlet thing because he whipped out a sword and a shield.
Oh, he
Yeah.
did? I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, like in one of the in 284, he just pretty much whipped those out, and he just told them, "Now step forward, you desire a royal beating." So like father, like daughter.
Or is it more like daughter like father?
Tomato.
One of those ways.
One of these ways isn't like the other.
All right, let's get into like her relationships, not like her love relationships, but like the relations she had between the main cast. So let's save
Well,
Sonic for last. Let's save Sonic for last.
well, there's
So let's start with Tails, I guess.
as I
Well, like we're just gonna for like okay, so we're gonna stick to mostly comic canon from here on point.
yeah, kind of have to.
Since it's like more, since there's like more there's more to discuss and there's like more detail
Okay, so like I said before, Tails is more like a younger brother to her.
Yeah.
in comics
Yeah,
Yes.
and Archie. Okay.
yeah. There
She
was
Tails kind of lived when I was reading. Tails kind of lived with like Sally and her aunt in a way, and in a way, like a little brother.
yeah, and
Because if I remember, I don't think Tails' family exists, and well, they do exist. They're just not there.
oh, they are there, but much later, much later. That's a whole nother can. But no, like I don't remember a whole lot, but I do remember the one part where Tails is saying like, "Yes, I cracked the code to Eggman's thing. We can do the thing. I'm very good at this." And Sally's like, "Yeah, you did a good job." "Oh yes, I did." And then she says, "And don't forget to brush your teeth and wash behind your ears," as he grumbles.
You're helping her to stop a tirade, and he's like, make sure you fucking do your chores.
Pretty much.
But Auntie Sally, I'm a smart boy.
Right, boy. So yeah, that's basically their relation. What's the next one? Because I can guarantee you're gonna miss one.
I will say though,
Yeah,
it was interesting in the post reboot that she definitely had him be the captain of the that new ship that they had. They traveled the world in Sky Patrol.
Oh really?
Yep, that was the actual ship name. And they even split the team up in like different, kind of like Sonic team kind of fashion.
I didn't know she did that.
Okay, so next, I actually don't remember who's the main cast. Was Knuckles part of the main cast?
He's a main character
Yeah,
sometimes.
but he's not really there a lot.
But
Okay,
there was a relation. They did try to date for a little bit, much to Sonic's
Oh, yeah.
irritation.
Knuckles and Sally, really?
Yes.
Wasn't that when they tried to do the whole Sailor Moon thing?
At one point, yeah. But yeah, like outside the Sailor Moon thing, they were still trying to date, but it just didn't really work. And then it was kind of like with Sonic's Antoine and Knuckles. They were all dating, and everyone's favorite Monkey Khan.
Oh man, yeah, I remember.
Okay, so
that
who
guy.
is Monkey Khan? I've seen him once when I was doing like a tier list thing of Archie characters, which most of them went into I don't know who the fuck you are tier.
Oh,
Yeah,
language.
I went. I'm pretty much just going to be like, I do not know about this Monkey Kong guy, so I'm pretty much gonna be quiet mostly.
Foggy at best. I remember he was actually a robot created by Eggman. I forget why or what he was supposed to do, but he clearly did not follow Eggman's orders. But we know he's a robot because one, he's got that little crown thing that's supposed to help him keep his freedom or something. And even with that, when the Iron Dominion did their thing with their magic tech, they influenced him as well. Because again, robot. But for whatever reason, those two kind of had a fling, and even when the Iron Dominion was doing their thing, Sally called in him for help. And he's like, "Oh, just like old times." And no.
He comes off as like the character that tried too hard to establish something.
Yeah, that and it was leaning real heavy on the I'm gonna butcher this. I think it's the Chinese lore of like the monkey on the cloud with the staff.
Yeah, the journey
The-
to the journey to the west, which like a lot of animes took influences.
Yeah. I do like his design, but that's about as far as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that does it for Knuckles and apparently Monkey Boy.
Oh, and Rotor. Remember that time when she dated Rotor?
Oh
Wink,
yeah, I was
wink,
gonna say
wink,
Rotor
wink, guys.
next.
Wink, wink, guys. Remember that time? Wink, wink. Axel won't know.
No, of course I won't know.
Really? I didn't
I've read
know that.
I've read like maybe 5 comics.
Ooh, we could tell him anything you want, guys.
Oh god. Well, anyway,
Bear in mind, I will fact check later,
It'll be too late.
and I
by
will
then.
put it in the annotations. Razor's full of shit.
You knew this beforehand.
I will say though that in the post reboot they got along pretty well, especially when he was the other half that created their flying ship, the Sky Patrol, and
Ooh.
also she definitely asked him about various things, especially when they were dealing with things like the world being shattered and the whole thing with the Dark Gaia.
You mean with Rotor?
Because in the post reboot they added not only the added ideas from Sonic the Fighters, but also the whole Sonic Unleashed thing.
Oh yeah, that's when Honey came in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I like the images I saw of Honey in there. I like her. I love the expressions you got.
Yeah, she's got good emotes. But in pre Genesis, Rotor was just kind of there when it came to Sally. He's like a friend, obviously, and good mechanic, and that's about it.
So Rotor just didn't have much development. He was just
No.
more of a background character.
You know,
He just gave the illusion of a main character because of his presence in Saddam.
They did
Yeah.
add more to him in the reboot, especially when you find out that his father is one of the egg bosses.
Just like with
yeah.
Bunny Rabbit's
That was the part where
uncle.
they show a killer whale, right?
No, it's like it's Tundra the Walrus. He was one of the new egg bosses they added, and then they also showed like in comics about the past of each character. And Rotor's his father was pretty much a dick.
So wait, backpedaling a bit, Mike, since you know the post reboot, did Monkey Kong ever get reused after that?
No.
Okay.
There was like a big list of characters they couldn't use because of
he was one of
obvious
them.
reasons, and also the some that they didn't want to touch because they were worried about stirring up stuff.
And he was one of them, I guess.
Because of our because of what happened last week, we're gonna try and mention Mr. Penders as little as possible.
Well, that's why I'm saying
time.
certain things and not mentioning the name.
No, we went on quite the tangent last week.
I will say though, it was definitely really strong with her with Nicole, especially with once Nicole got a her own somewhat of a physical body. It helped Sally and her interact even more, and
that was great.
The arc with the Phage one definitely strengthened their bonds together as well, especially when Sally was pretty much pissed at the creator in the reboot, which was a guy named Dr. Elodie, which he made Nicole because he was trying to revive his long lost daughter.
Speaking of Nicole, let's spend about 5 minutes talking about her, since it is kind of related. Like, she's arguably very close to Sally, so let's as quick as we can start from Nicole's origin and go outward. So what is she? She's obviously as an assistant. Is she an AI?
Yes. Basically, pre Genesis Wave, she was created in the future by Rotor and then sent back in time with Sally's knowledge to assist Sally in the past who had no clue. And Sally's just like, okay, I accept this. And that's where they went.
When did she get her links form? When did that start? Was that like right away in the comics, or did she start out as a voice from
Oh
a
no,
computer?
that was much later in the comics. It was after the egg grape vineyard thing. But like again, everything's a blur, so I can't tell you exactly when. I just know it was much later.
As for me, I can definitely tell in the post reboot they wanted to stay away from that, so they created a new character called Dr. Elodie, which mostly his daughter passed away and he tried to replicate his his daughter with an AI, which it gained its own independence. And Nicole, and just frustrated, he instead just put her in a little computer and gave it to Sally as a gift.
Hmm.
And Sally was pissed when he was being as distant to Nicole as possible, even though that he's considered, in quote, her father.
Did not know that.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
that.
So it's like the form of her daughter, or it's just something that resembles his daughter.
Mainly, mainly he tried to make her daughter like a one-to-one thing, but it kind of Nicole, formed into her own shape and all that. But she does carry a lot of the traits, and her and Elodie look almost the same, only with Elodie, being very, very old.
All right. So okay, so what is she to Sally? Is it just a close friend? Some people keep telling me they're lovers. What's
From
what's the story?
well, for
eh.
me, it depends, because there's a lot of people that consider one thing of them being best friends, or some feeling that the post reboots were more showing that they were lovers. Like there was not, a strict thing that what Ian or the other folks during the post reboot have given a solid answer.
Yeah,
So
they kind of
pretty
left that
much
open.
make up for me to the folks. Just make whatever you will, because everyone has
So
their own
so
opinion.
there's no solid evidence of it, but it's just like there's a feeling.
Yeah, I think basically my theory anyway is they were more than friends, but didn't really do anything. And the only real evidence to support that is the fact that Sally kept getting boyfriends. So yeah, that's basically all I got for that.
Okay, so just heavy implications, but not enough concrete evidence.
Yeah, no pics.
Yeah, it's not as solid as the Tangle and Whisper one, because Ian said just because I have to say it, they're really, 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 really good friends. But we all know what that means.
Mm, I don't know. I think they're just close friends. I don't think there's enough to say lovers. They just care enough to fucking get mad if they get hurt.
No, but for Sally and Nicole, I will say just make it as you will.
I would say they probably see each other as sisters, just really tight bond.
I can see that, yeah. Okay, so that covers. Okay, so we've covered Tails, Rotor, Nicole, Monkey Boy, Monkey D Boy. Guess we could
Bunny.
do. Guess we could. Yeah, let's do Bunny and then we'll do Amy.
Oh, don't
And
forget Antoine.
I wish I could.
Shadow. You
I
forgot
wish I could.
Shadow. Was there a relation between those two? I don't think there was.
I think
Yeah.
was it in the Archie? Not the Archie, but the Universe one.
Oh, I didn't really touch the universe one.
Thank you.
Oh wait, didn't they date?
I think they got married or something like that. They had like a royal wedding with Shadow.
What?
I
Oh
do
yeah,
not
because
know.
of the King Shadow thing, right? I've
Yeah,
heard
it was
of
something
it.
like that, right?
No, because Sally got married to Sonic, and in another nation, Shadow is king, and he got all butthurt because people didn't like him. So he unleashed chaos on them because that's what you do.
That's what happens when the angry edgy boy that nobody gives a shit about.
Basically,
Like me, I don't give a shit about him.
basically.
Uh, but yeah, I feel like I'm gonna just guess that when it comes to Shadow, they're just there. They don't really give much like close thoughts. There's not a close bond, but they are aware of each other's presence.
Where's my?
It was a little bit more with the reboot, mostly because they did emphasize more on Shadow being an agent of Gun, and the Freedom Fighters had pretty good ties with Gun, especially during the Shattered World Crisis.
Right. Okay. So right. So Bunny. Okay. So is there much going on between her and Bunny in terms of anything, or are they just like friends and there's not much more to read into that?
Mostly pretty close knit friends, but before Nicole had her own, body and such, they were definitely the whole, we're both, like very tightly knit sisters that are doing it for ourselves. And it was pretty interesting seeing that evolved now that they had a third person with Nicole in the mix.
I don't
All
remember
right.
them being that close. I kind of remember them kind of similar to Rotor, where it's just like, yeah, we're friends, girl power, and we're done.
Is it the same thing with Amy,
Amy, not so
or was
much.
there more, or was there a little bit more with Amy?
There was a little bit of more because I remember Amy wanted to become a freedom fighter. This was when she was in her Sonic CD outfit, and she was like, "I want to be a freedom fighter." And then Sally's like, "No, you can't become a freedom fighter. You're too young." And then like they do this thing where they make her like older, and then she has to go through like training to become a freedom fighter. It's really weird.
Yeah, she
Oh,
gets her
isn't that
hands
where
on a.
she didn't she fucking like wish herself to be older?
Yeah, she basically grabbed a Chaos Emerald and somehow used it to get older. And then I remember
weird.
and then I do
Yeah.
remember it was kind of funny though. One of the later comics, they build a school, and Sonic's like the worst thing people could have built a school. Why? And you know, everyone has to attend, and luckily it's more like a what's it called, a montage, not a full thing. But she's like, okay. Amy's like, okay, I'm gonna go to this class now, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? You never passed this grade. You're with Tails. What? No.
But the only reason why they did that was because they wanted to use the Adventure Amy. So that's
Yeah.
why they did that.
Yeah.
But I always feel like
What
it
do
was
you mean
kind of
by
weird.
Adventure Amy?
Sonic Adventure
The
1 and
Amy we
2.
know today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that just when Amy's appearance started to take form was Adventure?
Yes.
Pretty much, because before
Okay.
that was Sonic CD, as Judas said.
Yeah.
So I went from Pink Sonic with stress to Amy.
Yes,
Is that it?
went from Judas to Amy.
I was gonna say. I was gonna make a joke like
I
that.
stole your joke.
Is there any other main cast characters I'm forgetting besides Sonic?
Well,
Antoine.
Oh yeah, Anton.
well, I mean, when it comes to Sally, the only real interaction they had was outside of being a freedom fighter or not was tension, because Amy wants Sonic, Sonic doesn't want Amy, but Sonic wants Sally. Sally
I kind
wants
of like it in the
Sonic.
post reboot. They were more very good working buddies.
Yeah, there was
Like,
still some tension, but it was playful tension, so it was great.
yeah, it was just more like just joking tension instead of
Yeah.
I'm just going to strangle you.
Like, watch your back. Psych.
Anton and Saddam was very smoochy with her, wasn't she?
Yes.
You'd always grab her hand
he's
and
a
do
hot
like
shot.
he's a what?
Well, it's because he's a hot shot and he thinks he's better than Sonic.
And he would try
In
to
a
court
way.
her.
Yeah.
He did the fucking cheesy ass little mwah 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 that thing.
Yeah.
It's also
Antoine's the one that kind of does pickup lines. Those are really cheap pickup lines.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
He was like painfully French. Like he was like the most stereotypical French you could get back then.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
love that.
it's kind of interesting that then they decided to make him more with actiony instead of a cowardly. and it even evolved more in the post reboot when not only he was he does have his moments of being a scaredy cat. He did fought with the freedom fighters on equal terms. Plus, also the cool thing is they actually gave him his own little biplane called the Twister.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh. So speaking of his character development, he's so cowardly and stuff. So you know what he does when he realizes Metal Sonic's going after the prince?
What?
Tackles it. And even though he knows it's gonna explode, he holds on to it. You know, what a coward would do. Take one for the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that's like his level of like
Devotion.
character improvement.
Yeah, because you can see his thought bubbles like for king and country, and then boom.
And then afterwards, they didn't use him much until the post reboot because he was pretty much to a medical
Comatose.
bed.
Yeah, he was comatose and whatnot. He was not doing well. But before that, he married Bunny Rabbit, so there's that.
I like his wife more than him. What's that?
I did like the connection between Bunny and Antoine. That one felt pretty genuine. I like that shipping.
I hope I get to learn like more about that as we do that one project we're considering in the future. The fan dub, because we're obviously gonna have to do some reading through that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while until we get to where they start talking to each other and not trying to punch him.
I mean,
I think it's partly because like he would talk to her like a normal person, and she would do the same because she didn't care if he was a coward. She's like, dude, just take a deep breath. It's all good. And it just grew.
All right. Anybody else before we move on to Sonic? I was going to say Mina Mongoose, but there's probably nothing there.
Sadly, that'll be out of my wheelhouse, so it's going to be up to Razor to carry the ship.
Well,
Something I remember about Mina Mongoose was like the whole Sonic and her relationship, and it was just the other like agent guy getting all pissy, and that's about all I remember of Mina Mongoose.
Yeah, and it was basically the same way the other way around, because, Sonic and Sally, and then Mina comes in, it's like, we've seen it before with Amy. And even then, that was when Sonic was having issues with Sally, or vice versa, because Sonic wasn't listening to Sally. I'm going to do my own thing.
The only thing I remember seeing about those two interacting was when they snuck into her dressing room. And when Sonic snuck in, I forgot what his reasoning is. And then they asked, "How did you get in?" Sally just goes, "Princess."
I forgot all about that.
It's like I didn't read much, but I have seen scans on like Tumblr back in the day. When I saw that, and I was like, okay, fair enough. I don't like it, but it works. Okay, I think is that everybody before we go on to Sonic?
No, there was the skunk. What was his name again? Joffrey?
Joffrey?
Yeah.
St. John.
St. John.
They had kind of a weird forced relationship too.
Oh yeah, he was like.
Oh, is it like one of those things where it's like planned get together because of royalty and how they did that back in today?
No,
I think he's old.
Like arranged marriage. That's what it is.
No,
yeah.
It was. I thought it was
He's
the
old,
writers doing that.
Sally. Like much older too.
And not only that,
like what by like 5 8 years, that kind of thing.
I think it was like 10 at least.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say 10.
But not only that, but like he was like Antoine with the whole smoochings and stuff, but not cowardly and pretty manly about it. So it's just like he's outdoing Antoine in every way, and then he's being level-headed and stuff. Unlike Sonic, it's like
so he was fundamentally better than Antoine.
He was fundamentally better than any of them, which
made him kind of an asshole.
Well, yes.
Is that what happened?
He was an asshole.
And that was before you found out he was a traitor.
Oh, I didn't know he was a traitor.
Twice.
Spoiler.
You're welcome. Now I will spoiler milk next.
Okay. God, there's so much to read. I just don't have the time to read it.
Let's see. Who else was there before Sonic, or other than Sonic?
Like it's obvious. Like it's obvious why I want to say Sonic for last because he's got like the most interaction with her, arguably.
Just because he has the most doesn't mean he has the most growth with
best.
her.
Yeah.
It's not that it's the best. It's just there's more to cover.
Not really. There's only like
Oh.
3 parts.
Really?
Well, 4 maybe, because the one part I just loved.
The slap.
What? No, I'm talking about the other
Oh,
part.
the slap back when they had like the shitty looking art.
I like that art style.
It's
That
okay.
guy
Like,
still works for he works for IDW now too. That guy who did that slap drawing. I forgot who the artist is, but I have him added on my Twitter.
Yeah, Axel, we like that art style. Sit over
Oh,
there, behind that table.
Anime like TV stuff
It's
I like.
it's okay. Like bad things. I like 06.
Oh, that explains everything.
Okay, so, okay, who else is there before Sonic? I don't know why I'm saying Sonic for last now, but I'm sticking to it. Did she have anything with Rouge
No,
or Blaze?
not really, other than being princesses. Not that I remember, anyway.
Well, they did have some interactions back in the post reboot thing, but other than that, not a lot.
I'm trying to remember. She didn't really have much interaction with Cream. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I don't think there was a whole lot else.
Did she have a rival?
Raral?
A rival.
Rival.
Fiona Fox.
Yeah,
yeah,
I forgot about her.
Yeah, I did too. It's weird because Scourge is so popular.
Yeah, Fiona. Yeah, she hates her.
Well, she's technically like the
Did she hate-
anti-Sally.
Oh yeah,
Does
then
she
there's
hate-
Anti-Sally.
There's an anti-Sally? Wait, there's an anti-Sally? I don't remember that.
Yes, there's an Anti-Sonic, there's an Anti-Knuckles, there's an Anti-Tails.
Oh, anti-Alicia, Princess Alicia.
Oh, that was
You
a
forgot
thing?
about her, didn't you?
I don't even remember her. I remember Anti-Robotnik, who was the Goody Two-Shoes. And because that Anti-Rabot wasn't a cyborg and was outcasted by the Anti-Freedom Fighters.
Did she have any relations with Sonic's parents before we go on to Sonic then, I guess? Like, what was his name? Jules? What was his dad?
Yes.
The robot?
Jules first.
Jules was his dad, right?
I think so. His
Yes.
when everyone got de-roboticized,
Yes.
he was the only one that was
Well, he got fucking shot in the head with an arrow.
Yeah. So, like, when...
I don't roboticize them, it was going to be a vegetable.
Yeah, it was funny, because, like, Sonic's trying to figure out why his father was the only one not de-roboticized, and he even goes to Eggman, he's like, why? He's like, I don't know why, you're asking the wrong guy. And he finally gets his answer, he's like, oh, because he's sustained a mortal wound, if we do it, he'll die.
You just de-roboticize him and he just goes, "Bleh."
Pretty much.
I think it was the fact like Uncle Chuck was trying to hide like his parents' stuff from Sonic because he doesn't want to know the truth because he knew that Eggman would use those robots, his parents as robots against him.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That would make like the most sense, arguably.
Oh, yeah.
Good
I will
tech.
add one thing though with the Soul Salad thing. It's kind of interesting that when they did reintroduce Lupe into the,
I also
Pretty
forgot
little.
about her.
they actually did is they had in issue 277 that Lupe actually told about how Sally helped her get that courage to fight against Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman.
Well.
Dr.
They
Reed.
call me the nerd, but you know which exact comic number it is.
We're all nerds. Except me.
Yep.
I'm a
You're playing Mega Man. You don't count as a Sonic
I don't-
nerd.
yes, I do
No,
count.
you were gonna play Mario. That's even worse.
I'm not good at Sonic games. I just like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play Sonic next week, okay? I'll play
Mhm.
fucking. I'll play Sonic 3 Air next week.
Mhm. Well, we're
I'm
reaching
just
the hour
sitting here
mark.
just chuckling about this.
I'm a fanatic. That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Alright. Since we're almost close to the end, we should wrap it up with Sonic and give our final thoughts about it.
I think
Yes.
Sonic is blue.
Okay. Okay.
Like, he's
So.
red.
No.
Okay. So. Okay. So. Her relation with Sonic. Obviously, she's one of the 10,000 people he's dated.
They had an off and on relationship too,
Yeah.
but that was only for drama reasons to plot out their relationship because, like we said before, she is like the opposite, and I guess makes a good partner for Sonic.
And if they're on and off, it gives other characters a chance to get with her or Sonic.
And to cause more drama and tension.
Yay, love triangles. Or love
triangles.
octagons.
So that relationship was just basically Rachel and Ross from Friends.
Something around.
I
Yeah,
guess?
sadly they had to get rid of that in the poster and just have them as really good friends because of the Sega mandates.
Yeah.
And then IDW, she's just gone completely.
I like when people say like, "Oh, IDW," and she's like Tangled's taking over this Sally, and I'm like,
Like,
they have
no.
nothing in common at all.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm gonna sidetrack for 2 minutes about that. By the way,
Amy took
people
over her
who
job.
say people who say so and so are just a better version or a replacement for a so and so character are fucking wrong.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Tangled. They're trying to replace Sally with Tangled, and I'm like, do you not notice that these characters are different?
Yeah,
Like,
because
Nothing similar.
Here's what it is: it's copium. It's copium because they miss these characters.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen it with imposter syndrome with Surge and Kit. They think, oh, Surge is the new Scourge. I'm like, no.
No.
Surge had a
Not at all.
rebellious thing. Surge just wants to fucking go nuts and kick some ass. That's all she wants to do.
And even then, we're not sure if that's what she wants. Two Nova
Like that's
characters.
what's written, but
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if she has a deeper cycle. She's like, it's like what, two
Yeah.
comics in.
2 or
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
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 She hasn't had time.
yeah, she
Yeah.
needs her the time to flesh out.
Yeah, and this is what everybody thinks. Who is fucking Kit trying to replace?
Tails.
Anti-tail?
Miles? Oh, so he's just a bigger pussy version of Miles?
You mean Anti-Tails? Because Anti-Tails is
Yeah.
kind of a dick.
Anti-Tails was Miles. That was what I was saying. He
Well,
was the
yeah.
He was the Tails was the great toupee, right?
Yeah.
Well, Kid is, sad boy, and if you anger him, he'll drown you in water.
His
Blah, blah,
sorrow.
Oh my god, he's fucking Aquaman from Battle Arc 4. That's literally what happens. Just, I'll touch base on that like next in the future.
But yeah, with Sonic and Sally, like first Sonic tried to kill Sally, which turned out it wasn't Sonic, it was something else.
Was that Scourge or just before
No,
he
this-
became Green Boy?
This was way before Scourge was Scourge. This was
Actually, you just said
the-
dang green
The
boy.
robot?
Yes.
It
He's
was-
Green Boy. Deal with it.
it was the end game.
No, I
arc.
was saying I thought you said gang green boy, like the.
No, he's
the-
just Green Boy.
I don't know. I kind of like getting Green Boy now. But no. So she quote unquote died, but turns out she was in a coma. And after the whole end game arc, Sonic goes to the glass casket to kiss her goodbye, and she wakes up like a princess in a storybook.
Wow.
Blech. And then many issues later, as Judas said, like Sonic wants to go off and do his own thing, and she says, "What about me, Slap? You never think about me, blah blah blah."
Yeah, you're being selfish, but Sonic's like, but I need to save these people. But what about me?
And then one of my favorite parts. I actually have two favorite parts. Before the Egg Genesis wave, they go to the Egg Carrier MK2, I think it was called, and Eggman unleashes a robot Mecha Sonic thing, and Sonic's like, "Oh yeah, this is happening." So he goes after it. Sally just kind of rolls her eyes and focuses on the mission, stopping the egg carrier. She runs down the hall, and what happens? a trapdoor opens out of the side of the wall or ceiling to reveal a twin-linked Gatling gun. You hear bam, 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 and you see her goggles fall to the ground.
I remember
Heavily
that.
implied.
I,
She did.
I have the issue of the cover of that where it's just her hand and someone's like, "Oh no!"
Oh yes. Oh, I loved it. And then
This was introducing the whole kind of reboot in a way because I remember
Yeah.
Eggman was like, "Yeah,
Eggman's like, "Oh, I did it," and then
look, I did it."
he does the Egg Genesis wave, uh, and then that happens in the tonal arc, and basically time shenanigans happen. They basically go back in time slightly, but no one can remember why. And so when Eggman tries to activate the Egg Genesis, it doesn't work, and no one knows why, and he's flipping out. While that's happening, he says, "Okay, well, if I can't do the Egg Genesis wave, I'll just use the power to roboticize the entire planet," which he should have done the first time. And so Sally, with Nicole's help, focuses all that energy into one point, but because they don't have time, Sally sacrifices herself and uses herself as the focal point, and that's how she gets roboticized into Mecha Sally. And much later, Sonic's fighting this Sally, trying to break her down enough to get her into a de-roboticizing area without killing her. And she's not really having it because, she's evil now. And as they're fighting, she basically says, "Okay, I'm going to initiate my self-destruct sequence. You couldn't save me in life, but we'll be together forever, in death." And then Sonic snaps. It was great.
I like how happy you sounded. You just went nuts.
What? It's not my fault I enjoy watching that blue freak suffer.
It just makes me sad face.
I like grimdark. It's fun.
Okay. Well, okay. So we're about near the end. How do we feel about Sally? Okay, what's our overall opinion about Sally? Let's start with Judas.
I don't know, but the whole relationship stuff, I don't give a shit about it. But as a character, I think she all right. I think she's a good complement with Sonic and the crew, and we need more female characters that have that kind of role in a way.
We need more female characters to have decent writing.
Yeah, that's true.
Razor, you next. How do you feel about Sally? What's your opinion?
She will be missed, but like I said before, I forget what that character's name is. Plus, Amy kind of replaced her in IDW, so she will be missed. But what I'll really miss is Nicole. But you can't have Nicole without Sally, so that's probably never going to happen.
And Mike?
Well, I really enjoy the character in all her different versions, and I do miss her, and I do know that Ian Flynn really wants to one day bring them back, but until then, just please people, just don't try to just annoy him because he's working under mandates and all that, and the more you do that, the less likely he'll be interested in bringing them back if he's allowed to.
Oh, I have an idea. Bring him back in a dream, or better yet, a nightmare. Bless you.
Oh yeah, like a little callback to Archie.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even then, that might be too dangerous because lawsuits. I'm just being silly.
Like I said, there's no problem with the lawsuit thing. It's just that with the current mandates and such, he has to tread carefully.
Yeah. My opinion, I'm always going to see Sally as the nag character that I didn't really like in Saddam, but I do recognize and appreciate her place in Sonic history, I guess we could call it. And like Razor, I'm also going to miss Nicole, but who knows what's going to happen in the future of the comics? We never know.
Well, I feel like that Bell character's Nicole's replacement, you know, in that sense, because, you know, it's artificial intelligence and robot and whatnot. But at the same time, it's just like, it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's got the same principles, the same.
Right. And that's
Yeah,
why I don't see them bringing Nicole back, because they already have a character that fills this niche.
yeah.
For me,
I
I
don't know.
just can't wait to see what they do with this comic so far.
Yes.
I've been enjoying it so far. I have every single issue as of today.
Not I. I'm too cheap.
What do we want to rate? What does everyone rate Sally on a scale of 1 to 10?
May I go last?
Yeah, you can go last.
Excellent.
Judas, then Mike, then Razor, then me.
Oh, that's a good question. I want to give her a 7.
Mike.
Depending on the version. So, post reboot and her Sally Acorn is definitely going to be an 8 for me. It's unknown on the pre-reboot since I haven't covered that a while.
I give her a bag full of marbles out of 10.
Okay, what's the actual number?
I don't like number systems. That's what I'm going with. Bag full of
That's what are
marbles.
marbles.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say you said 7.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I don't know how I feel. I'm gonna give her a 6 to a 6.5. I just don't like characters that tend to nag the main characters, but she does have an important role, so she gets the respectful. She gets respect for what she is, but I just don't care that much about her.
Is it because she's
So
royalty?
I understand.
yeah, I
You
do
just
have.
got a problem with authority? Is that what it is?
I don't like royalty characters. I guess that's the same. But I love Blaze.
Oh,
I like Blaze though. That's weird.
because she doesn't really act royalty-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. You don't really adapt to like her universe in a way because
Yeah.
they hardly show it, but they just say she's a princess, and they're like, okay.
Basically.
So long and short, most of us will miss Sally, but we still also anticipate the future of IDW.
Well, you guys do for that. I don't.
Oh, right.
I don't see her coming back. It'd be nice, but I
No,
doubt it.
no. I mean, we anticipate what's going to happen in IDW. We don't really foresee her in IDW.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
Then
just have the
you'd be right.
fandom just point and be like, look, that person's replacing Sally. And then they get a whole heated argument on Twitter.
Like,
Meanwhile,
no.
I'm just gonna be sitting here, just laughing my butt off in blissful ignorance, and just enjoy chatting with you fellas.
And I will fan the flames like, no. This other character replaced Sally. See?
So pretty much, you're going the chaotic route.
Yes. I'm helping.
Razor's just putting more fuel to the fire.
Yes, more feelings to the fire.
Well, in the words of Jeff Goldblum, that's chaos theory. That's chaos theory.
Yes. Okay, that does it for that does it for this week. We'll be back next week. We don't know what topic. I have a couple in mind though. We'll be back. I don't know what day, so keep an eye on all of our Twitters. My Twitter is Aurora Deity. Razor, you are at RazorTimCore. Is that right?
Wait, what was the question? I blanked out. I'm tired.
I told everybody to keep eye on our Twitters for updates of the podcast. I told them mine. I asked if I said I assume yours is at RazorTimCore.
Correct.
Judas is at Graveherder.
Yeah, Graveharder.
Harder.
Yeah, like work harder, but grave harder.
Grave harder, but with a grave.
Yeah.
And Mike, you are
At Mike J. Murdock.
At Mike J. Murdock. So keep an eye out on all of our Twitters. We'll most likely announce ahead of time when the podcast will be in a more organized manner.
Not me, I'm lazy.
With more of my technical problems out of the way, because apparently I had more.
Fun.
Aww.
Yeah, I'll talk about it later. So we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. I'm gonna send you all to. Well, give me 1 second. I'm gonna send you all to Shino the Wolf over at Twitch. I believe he is playing. He is playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles today. He's playing the air one. I forgot what it's called. It's like Angel Island Revisited. He's playing that modded version of Sonic 3. So we're gonna send you to him. We'll see you next week. Have a good day, everybody, and take care. And I will see you all later. Goodbye,
Take care,
everybody.
everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye. Buy me cereal.